once yesterday and once today. Yesterday as part of the first dress rehearsal, which was open to the press and the delegations, and once as a normal member of the public, any tickets that you could have gotten as well, at the afternoon preview show. If you hear loudness coming from over there, that's because Mama Gama have come in. I have tried to do this live stream once before and I failed. It was my first time trying to do a YouTube live stream, and they walked in just as I was saying where I think they will be in the qualification odds. So that would have been really fun to have in my live stream. Unfortunately, didn't happen because I failed at actually getting it live, but here we are. I'm going to go through in the order of most to least likely to qualify, because I am very tossed up about 10th and 11th. I really do not know who is going to be qualifying from the two that I think will be 10th and 11th. Alright, let's get into it. I think the number one, the most obvious one, is that Sweden are definitely qualifying. They are the favourites to win, so if they don't qualify, I think it's the end of the world, basically. Like, there's no way that Sweden doesn't qualify. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure they will be. The show is just a deluxeified version of Melfest, mostly with some negatives as well, because they had to remove one dancer, so it doesn't feel quite as fun. But yeah, I think they're definitely going through. In the second spot, I've got Estonia. Tommy Cash is known worldwide, and a lot of people really like Espresso Macchiato. I don't personally all that much, but yeah, I gotta give it to him. He's also added something into staging that I think is a really great idea, really works with the song, with his whole persona this whole time. So I'm not gonna spoil it for you, I'm not giving any spoilers out, but yeah, it's definitely really good for this song. That thing that he's added to the staging. So yeah, I think there's definitely a worthwhile bet that Tommy Cash will be qualifying. In the third spot, I've put Albania. There's a lot of hype around Škodra Elektronika and Zierm. It's a fan favorite, and Beatrice is magnetic. Cole does his job really well. It fits within the song. They've done really great staging for it, and yeah, I think that Albania is definitely qualifying. In the fourth spot, I've got Poland. Justyna is an amazing performer. The dancers do an incredible job. I just think there's a lot happening in the staging, and that works, I think, for this song. The song is also a bit chaotic, so I think Poland is pretty much qualifying for sure. A little bit uncertain because second running slot, but I'm not really that worried. I think Poland is going to be in the final. In the fifth spot, I've got Ukraine. Once again, not really worried. They've first of all got a lot of diaspora, but that they don't even need that because they've done a magical staging. They've created a magical staging once again. There's an aspect that they've added that the backing singers do and Daniel does that I think really works for the song. It's magical. They're kind of stealing something from one of the other delegations this year. I'm not sure if they've talked that through or if they had come up with that idea as well before they knew that the other delegation was doing that. But we saw the other delegation do it first. I think, yeah, Ukraine's qualifying. The staging looks pretty magical. I do miss the garden a little bit, and the outfits are definitely a bold choice, but I think it's going to pay off. I think it works. I like the outfits personally, but there's going to be a few people who don't. In the sixth spot, I've got Belgium. I think Red Sebastian is qualifying on his birthday. That's such great news. He is, having a lot of fun with it, and he's really elevated the staging. It's really spectacular to watch. Even the 30-second rehearsal clip was magical, but the whole thing just is a spectacular show. So I really cannot recommend it enough. I think, yeah, Belgium is qualifying. I don't think Red Sebastian will be sad on his birthday that he didn't qualify. I think he is qualifying. In the seventh spot, I've got Norway. Carl Alessandro is a very professional performer, and there's a lot of fire on stage. It's all really slick. It all works really well. So, yeah, there's that. And Mama Gama are leaving now. Yeah, I think Kyle is almost certainly qualifying. In the eighth spot is the Netherlands. I had been getting a little bit iffy about it as I was watching the full performance for the first time. I don't think it really works in the arena. But I think Claude's charisma will bring it over to the camera, and it will work very well on the live feed on the TV. And the last moment did also work in the arena that he's added. That's a pretty magical moment. A really clever workaround. I think we have seen something like that before, but this was just really lovely. So yeah, I do think that the Netherlands are qualifying, but I am a little bit more iffy than I was before we saw rehearsals. The staging isn't really as colourful as I'd like it to be, but that's okay. That's what the Dutch delegation wanted to do. In the 9th spot, I've got Cyprus. I think Theo Evan is working with Sergio Hayen, and I'm pretty sure this will be qualifying. It's a really dynamic performance. Theo does touch the ground quite a few times, but this song is kind of catchy, and I mean, personally, it's just about in my top 10. But I think this is qualifying. A lot of people also comment on Theo Evan's good looks. The staging really works. His vocal's good as well. A lot of people were concerned about if the vocal would be good enough because we haven't really heard him at pre-parties and stuff. But both of the times I heard it, the vocal was very good to me. So I'm pretty confident in Cyprus qualifying. And then the next two is where I really don't know. 10th and 11th spot for me is Iceland and Slovenia. And if I'm going with my heart, Iceland is qualifying. If I'm going with my head, Slovenia is qualifying. Basically, Iceland is so fun. They are really putting in a party atmosphere. The first running order slot is actually a pretty good one. People usually qualify from it. And they are making the show memorable. There's like Minecraft-like visuals. It all just does really work. However, the dancing doesn't seem quite polished enough. And I also wonder if they'll get forgotten for being first, but I'm not sure. And then in my head about Slovenia, I have not put a single ballad through, and I think that's almost impossible, that no ballad qualifies. But maybe I'm wrong about that. And also, I like what they've done at the end of the staging. I don't think I'm a massive fan of what's been added at the front. It's a little bit cliche. But Clement delivers a solid vocal each time for what the performance needs. So I think it's fairly likely that actually it will be Slovenia because of my head, the logical side, that like, yeah, I haven't put a single ballad through, but in my heart I really want it to be Vibe. They are so fun. Roll is such a cool song, and I really do want Iceland to qualify. Unfortunately, going with my head, I think it will be Slovenia. And don't get me wrong, Clement is great. I just don't think the song has reached its full potential in its current form with the staging. So I do think it would maybe be a tiny bit unfair, but this is also the cards you're dealt. You have to accept that it's a competition and you're going to be compared with the other artists, and Clement does stand out in semi-final 1, mostly by luck. So I think it's going to be Slovenia in 10th and Iceland in 11th. In the 12th spot, I've got Marko Bošnjak. I am so sad about that, Croatia. I think he's such a great person. I've spoken to him like 4 times this week, and he's so lovely. Unfortunately, the song doesn't work for a lot of people. I think they've done just about the most they could have done for the staging. And I'm not a massive fan of the costumes, but they do have cultural meaning, so it's alright. Yeah, I think maybe more could have been done, a little bit more, but it could have also gone wrong and just been too much in a way. So I'm quite satisfied with it the way it is right now, but I still don't think that's enough for Marko to qualify, unfortunately, because the song just doesn't work for a lot of people. So I've got him in 12th, and I hope I'm wrong. I really want him to qualify. He's so lovely, but going with my head, I don't think he will. In the 13th spot, I've got San Marino. They really just haven't elevated the staging. It doesn't really work. There's a lot of cool visuals, but I don't think that's enough. Unless the camera cuts are really, really smart, or there's a true incredible party atmosphere in the arena while it's happening, I don't think San Marino is qualifying, unfortunately. The stage feels a little bit bare. Nobody moves or barely moves. The 2 dancers with instruments do move to the center of the front of the walkway at one point, but yeah, there's basically no movement in the staging, and yeah, unless the camera cuts are really, really smart, I don't see San Marino qualifying. In the 14th spot, I've got Portugal. I think they are such lovely guys, and the song is really nice. Unfortunately, I think the visuals do not tell the story at all. It's still a little bit sleepy, despite them walking to the front and then going back. And they do a great job at performing it every single time, Napa does, but I don't think that the staging has been elevated, transformed enough in order to let it qualify at Eurovision, because at Festival da Canção, obviously everyone understands Portuguese, but at Eurovision most people don't. So yeah, I don't think the visuals tell enough of the story. And finally, in the 15th spot is Azerbaijan. The guys who had just come in, just as I was getting to that. I wonder if that was like a little attempt to get a little bit more press just before the semi-final. That's what artists sometimes do, and good on them that they want to do this. That's you've got to do everything that you can. Unfortunately, I think the staging is just too dark. I like the oranges for the song, I like the fire, but it's a light and airy, fun song, and the staging is just really dark. I don't think it works. The vocals might grate on some people. Unfortunately, I do not think that Azerbaijan is qualifying this year. And those are all of my thoughts on the qualifiers of semi-final 1, an hour before the show. I hope you enjoyed those thoughts. I hope I didn't spoil anything that I wasn't meant to spoil, or didn't want to spoil, in case you're still waiting to see the actual full show yourself. Thank you ever so much for listening. I will hopefully make other videos at some point soon as well, but I'm pretty exhausted, and it's not even been half of my time in Basel. I'm not really taking care of myself as a person much, but I'm taking this opportunity. I'm very grateful for it, to have press accreditation this year. I hope I get to have it next year as well, and it's really a magical experience, and I really love doing this. So thank you to everyone for making this possible. Thank you to Eurovision Insider, who I work with to have this press accreditation. It's under Eurovision Insider, it's not under my channel. So yeah, thank you so much for that, and I hope you enjoyed this prediction. I hope I'm right, kind of, but there's always a shock. There's always a shock. We'll have to wait and see what it is tonight. Yeah, those are all of my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.